London's Mayor Sadiq Khan declared a major incident in the British capital, warning that the spread of COVID-19 is out of control. With over 7,000 coronavirus patients in hospital, the National Health Service is on the cusp of being overwhelmed and is running out of beds. Medical centres in London are receiving 800 new COVID patients every day, the equivalent of the entire capacity of a large hospital. Since early December, the number of virus cases in Londoners over the age of 60 has quadrupled. Khan is pushing for even more restrictive measures to slow infections.
I'm calling on the Prime Minister, and I've written to Boris Johnson earlier today, to stop, for example, collective acts of worship in London, which can still occur. I deliberately missed Friday prayers today, but Friday prayers are still taking place. Churches, gurdwaras, temples are still open. Also, it's really important that we accelerate the rollout of the vaccine in those parts of London where the virus is spreading incredibly fast. We also need to make sure that we provide additional financial support to those Londoners who need to self-isolate.
The UK hit a grim COVID-19 milestone today, breaking both its record for daily death toll and new infections. Over 1,300 people lost their lives to coronavirus in the last 24 hours. 68,000 people tested positive for the virus. UK regulators have approved drug maker Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine, but it won't be available until the spring. The government has already ordered 7 million doses of the shot and agreed to buy 10 million more after it was authorised. For more on this, we have Victoria Smith standing by for us in London. Victoria, London's mayor is sounding the alarm bell. How serious is the situation in the capital?
Well, Jack, good evening. A major incident, what that means is something along the lines of a terror attack. A major incident was called in the aftermath of the London Bridge and Westminster Bridge attacks. And of course, there was an incident a major incident called in Manchester earlier last year in August, and that was to do with the COVID spike there. London now is the worst hit of all areas in the UK when it comes to COVID infection. The Office for National Statistics says 1 in 30 people may well be affected, and that is why the Mayor of London is calling this a crisis, and that's why he's appealing to the government for more help and more financial help for those who are self-isolating and therefore unable to work. So we're looking at the London Ambulance Service taking a record number of calls, up to 8,000 emergency calls a day, as compared to a normal busy day of 5,500 calls, and firefighters too have been drafted in to help. Also the counties of Sussex and Surrey, just to the south of London, they've also declared similar major incidents, and we now know that there are more than 7,000 people in hospital in the capital. That's an increase of 35% on the last peak, the last major spike in April of last year.
UK regulators, Victoria, have approved this third vaccine, and the government is sounding upbeat about its targets for hitting vaccinations.
Well, that is a chink of light, isn't it, really? Let's hope so. Anyway, this third vaccine, the Moderna vaccine from the US, that was approved by the EU a couple of days ago, now approved here in the UK. It's meant to be 94% effective. It works in much the same way as the Pfizer vaccine, stimulating the immune response when COVID attacks or tries to attack. The government has upped its order of this vaccine from 7 million to 17 million, which says something. 2 doses of the vaccine needed for each person. It doesn't need to be stored at the same low levels of the Pfizer vaccine either, which makes it easier to roll out. And as we know, Boris Johnson has announced again today that vaccination rollout is being beefed up with more hubs, more centres, community pharmacies as well, operating next week to get the vaccine out. Around a quarter of those aged 80 and above have now been vaccinating, around 1.5 million people in total. And in fact, a total of 367 million doses of all 3 vaccines have now been ordered. Of course, the Moderna vaccine, as you say, won't be ready till spring. But yes, a glimmer of light on the horizon.
Victoria Smith, thank you so much.